All right, welcome everyone. Ken here with Binary Pro Strategies. This is going to be the weekly update ending on November 1st, 2019. But before we get started, I want to mention a couple things. Well, first, if you'd like these videos, please subscribe to this channel. Give me a thumbs up. Also, be sure to hit the little bell so you can be notified on any new videos that I have coming out. In fact, I have what I'm working on right now. The best way to set up your workstation, so that's something I'm going to be working on this week. So I did buy a new monitor. It's one of the newest monitors out there, but anyway, I'll just keep it at that. But I'm going to show you my newest setup and the way that I'm set up to trade these binaries. Couple new things that are also coming out for members is we're going to be working on, and it looks really promising, is I know a lot of people don't have the time to trade 5 minutes, to sit in front of the screen for an hour or two. So we're working on taking the patterns that I have and applying them to the daily charts and or even the weekly charts. Right now, the preliminary testing looks extremely good. I would expect that it would. These patterns, because of the way that they're designed, should hold up in any time frame, and that's really what it's showing us. So we're working on that. Once we get I get a little bit more statistics in front of me, and I confirm that they're going to do well, then I'll go ahead and release it. So that will provide those that, once again, don't have time to sit and trade the 5-minute binaries an opportunity to put a trade on a day or trade on a week and still take advantage of these really strong patterns. The other thing is, right now with the core package, you are getting a free 1-hour consultation with me where it's a one-on-one. You don't have to be a chat member in order to get that 1-hour consultation. So in other words, if you sign up for the core package, you study all the videos, then you and I will spend some time together and go over it one-on-one. Starting January 1st, I'm not going to be able to do that because my schedule is just getting too hectic. I'm getting a lot more new members. So what I'm going to do is you're still going to get that personal training with me, but it's going to be more in groups, or I have something maybe once a week. We'll have once a week, maybe set a time, maybe 30 minutes, and all new members can join us, and I'll answer all your questions. Make sure everybody understands all the patterns, and get you taken care of that way. Right now, just doing one-on-ones is becoming too consuming for me, and I'm running out of time and able to continue to do these videos and train and helping folks out, and obviously my own personal trading is being affected by that. So anyway, that's something that I want to fix. Okay, so let's talk about this week. Now, one of the things I mentioned several weeks ago is I'm going back to the way I originally started trading. What that means is that, and I talk about this quite a bit, particularly I talk about it in the fundamental video. If you had a chance to get a hold of that free fundamental video, you understand what I'm talking about. If not, that's still fundamental video, still available on my website, binaryprostrategies.com. Just go ahead and put in your name and email address, and you'll get the link in order to watch that free fundamental video. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to setting an objective every day, which I do recommend people do. And my objective is going to be $500 every day. And once I hit that $500 objective, I stop trading. I've been doing that now for several weeks, except Thursday nights. Thursday nights, once again, are only for crystal ball traders. So I really focus on crystal balls only on Thursday nights. I will trade some other patterns if I'm waiting for a crystal ball to set up. But besides that, most of my focus is going to be on working with the crystal ball members, and that's only on Thursday nights. Okay, so you can see I had a great week. I had no losing days this week. As far as my first trade wins, I hit it 80%. What that means is that I go back and I look at every session. I look at the morning, I look at the evening session, and I look at my very first trade out of the gate. And so for 80% of these trading sessions this week, I had a winning trade. One of the things you'll also notice that I do is on my very first trade, I always start off with 3 contracts. So I put a little bit of size on my first trade because my first trade win ratio is very high. For those members that are watching this video, I suggest you go back and you look at that as well. That will allow you to give your account a nice little boost. And even if for some reason you're wrong and you do lose on your very first trade, that gives you the rest of the day to make up for that. Once again, these are 5 minutes binaries that I'm trading. So with 5 minutes, you have a lot more opportunities to hit your daily objective on a day-by-day basis. Okay, so most all these that you're looking at is based on the newly released PAP pattern. It is a combination of 2 other patterns that I had released some time ago, but I think with the combination and the high ratio of the naked trades, you can see it's extremely strong. What I mean by a naked trade is there's no filtration whatsoever. That means once a buy comes out or a sell comes out, if you just close your eyes and bought it and you sold it, you would still be hitting some pretty high ratios. Okay, so you add in EOM, you add in some correlation, all those things that I teach you, you can get these win rates up to a much higher amount. Okay, there are particular setups within the PAP that do even better. I mean, consistently do even better. So there's a lot of things that you can do here in order to get a small account growing. And we go through all of that once you join the live chat room. That is not going to be something that's available with just a core package because there's just too much information to go through all of that. But once you join the live chat room, which I highly recommend that you do, you're going to see not only how I adjust size, but how the other members are also working with size, and what trades are taken, what trades are not taken, and so forth, in order to grow their account and meet their daily objective. And most of my students now are hitting their daily objective. It doesn't take a long time to do it. Okay, I suggest when you come in, as in the video, the fundamental video, you start off with a $50 objective. Once you can do that on a consistent basis, then you can bump it up another $50, maybe $100 objective. Okay, so that's certainly up to you. It depends on your account size. How much you put in is something I can't recommend. That's certainly up to you, but obviously the more that you put in to your initial count, it does give you a little bit of buffer. So if you do get hit on your first trade, you have some room to work with and build your account back up. Okay, so nothing is 100%. Understand, in any kind of trading, you are going to have losses. I don't hit at 100%. I don't know of anybody that does. Now, I will tell you this. I have had nights, and recently, several of the nights where I was hitting at 100%, every single trade out of the gate was a 100% winner. And the members were able to take advantage of that as well, or at least the members that were in chat, because every single setup, and I'm looking at 4 trading pairs, every single one was hitting. And that does happen. I get 1 or 2 of those sessions every week. So these patterns are extremely, extremely strong. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a look at the yen this week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the yen charts. Since we don't have a day for Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and show the nightly chart for Sunday, and then the rest will be the daily charts, and we'll take a look at the yen. As you can see, here are once again, the naked ratios. This is, once again, the winning ratio, okay? The win rates for naked trades. You can see that the yen did very well in the morning, 75%, just slightly under 7% for the night session. But look at your euro, 70% day, 94% at night. That's unbelievable. Even our pound had a very, very, very good couple sessions. Morning and night was 70% in the morning and 90% at night. And then, of course, the Aussie did well as well. But anyway, so you can see the percentages are very good. So let's take a look at some charts and let's see how those setups look like on the daily charts. All right. Okay. So here's Sunday night. This is of the yen only. The U.S. yen actually had a really good night, $607. But this is interesting because I want to show you something here. One of the things about the PAP pattern that's quite remarkable, I would say, is the fact that it has the ability to stay in phase with the market, okay, or in sync. I call it in phase. That's why it's called the phase adaptive. It does adapt to the phase of the actual fluctuation of a particular pair. Once again, it doesn't matter what the instrument is, but since we're trading the Forex market, this is related to the Forex market. One of the things that I know is I know that when it goes out of phase, it stays out of phase for a while. But once it gets in phase, then I know it stays in phase for a while. One of the things that we noticed coming into the night is that the yen was out of phase. Okay, so I took a trade, and that was pretty much it. I knew that it was out of phase. I did not trade for the rest of the evening. This is really, really important. Okay, think of it kind of like a sine wave. You got like two sine waves. And when my pattern is in sync, it's going to be in sync with that sine waves. When it goes up, it's going to go up, go down. It's going to be in sync or in phase with the natural phase of the market. When it gets out of phase, it stays out of phase for a while, then it kicks back in phase. And I can show you how to know when it's going out of phase and also when it gets in phase. The beauty of that is when you see it going in phase, then it stays in phase, and that's when I started hitting it and start making my money. Not when it's out of phase, it's when it goes in phase is where I make my money. It's real important. So anyway, still had a really good night, over $600 on Sunday night. I went a little bit over my objective, but once again, Sundays are probably one of my better nights. So I love Sunday nights. In fact, any other time would be any time at night is good, but I really love Sunday nights. I usually have winning sessions. I think maybe in the last year, I think only had one Sunday night where I actually had a losing session. That's how strong Sundays are. So chat room is open for existing chat room members, and I do trade along with them every Sunday night. All right, let's take a look. Now we can go to Monday morning, and let's take a look at the yen and see how it did on Monday morning. All right, so here's Monday's. It would be October 28th, Monday, day 328 of my trading, charting all these trades, trading in front of students for the last 328 days. The yen, this particular morning session, I think it only hit like it's 65, 66%. Wasn't real strong. Still ended up hitting my objective before noon because when I come in, once again, if it's starting off in phase, I always start with the 3 lot no matter what. And then if it's in phase, I will come in and I may put on several more. A little bit more size instead of a 1 lot based on the particular strength of the signal. There are signals in here that are really strong, and we'll talk about that in the chat room. But usually when I'm getting, because I had like some losses here, I wasn't trading during this period of time, and I wasn't trading through this period of time. Only because I had pretty much already hit my objective early with the yen, and I was trading the other currency pairs. But nonetheless, there are some really nice, strong signals in here, and I teach you how to identify those. But once again, it wasn't as much phase as I'd like it, but still, it held up, going into the afternoon. So if you did have a hard time going through this non-phase, which I suggest that you don't, then you should have definitely caught it over here when it went in phase. And ended up doing pretty well that night as well. So anyway, that's Monday. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at Tuesday's US yen chart. Okay, so here we are. This is Tuesday. This is going to be October 29th, day 329. This is what I would call a very good in-phase market. I don't know what the winning ratio is, but I do have it somewhere. But I know this is very strong because I only had a few losses in here. This was in phase all day long, folks. And it's something that once it starts off in phase, it typically stays in phase as well. Okay. Had a lot of really nice trades. Once again, I hit my objective early in the morning. So a lot of these trades going into the later afternoon from 12 o'clock on, I didn't take. But after 12 o'clock, I think they were all hitting at 100%. Once again, these are the naked signals, not putting in any kind of filtration in this. When you're looking at these wins and your losses, and I'm giving you percentages, these are strictly on the win rate for the naked trades. No filtration whatsoever. So even with no filtration, the beauty of the PAP is it does stay in phase with the market, okay? And when it gets out of phase, it stays out of phase for a while, but then it kicks in. It's more in phase than it is out of phase. So that's something also to remember, is that it will stay in phase more than it stays out of phase, which is once again, the power of the phase. And the reason the phase pattern works so well is because it's really functioning on what's actually going on inside the market itself. Okay. And it identifies where the market wants to go, and it goes along with it. So it's not something that's optimized. There's one single parameter. You don't have to worry about it falling apart, because it will always, as long as markets are moving up and down, then it will stay in phase. All right. So let's go ahead and let's look at our next day, and that's going to be Wednesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at Wednesday. All right, so here is Wednesday for the U.S. yen, Wednesday, October 30th, day 330. In the morning, had a 76% win rate. On the naked signals, as you can see, once again, the yen stayed in phase all day long. It certainly carried on that night as well. At night, I had a very strong night, but certainly hit my objective once again. I hit my objective before, I believe it was 12:30. So I was out with my objective before 12:30. A lot of my students were as well. So once again, but even if you continue to trade after 12 o'clock, you still would have done very well, because this was an in-phase market all day long. Okay, and this is just one pair. I do trade a total of 4 pairs. So there's a lot of opportunities, and a lot of really strong setups to hit an objective early in the day. And then, you're done. Then you come back and trade at night if you like, or you just wait until the next day and go for another objective. All right, so let's take a look at Thursday. All right, here's Thursday, October 31st, day 331. And once again, yen was in phase all day long. That's the beauty of when they get in and out of phase. Like I said, once they go in phase, they stay in phase. And I hit my objective again before noon. I think it actually is before 11 o'clock. And I started at 8 a.m., which is Central Time, or 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And I usually can hit my objective within the first 3 to 4 hours, depending on the size of the objective. The bigger the size, it takes a little bit more time. Unless you want to start putting on size, I don't recommend that. So I usually start off with first trade is a 3 lot. Then I go down to 1s, and I just chip away at it and build my account up. And then if I do have another strong trade that shows up, then I'll go ahead and I'll take advantage of that. So anyway, very good day. This was Thursday morning, of course. Thursday night, killed it with the crystal ball, with a combination of the PAP pattern. So Thursday overall was the strongest day I had all week. All right, and then let's take a look finally at Friday, which can tend to be kind of difficult. But I'll tell you what, the last month or so, Fridays have been very strong. So let's take a look at Friday, and let's see how we ended the week here. Okay, and finally, this is U.S. yen on November 1st, day 332. Being a Friday, this was in sync all day long. Really strong, once again. You could just, if you're not making your objective early in the day, then you're not trading, because there were so many setups. This is just the yen. There were so many setups across the board in different pairs that I would have been hard-pressed for anybody not to have hit their objective early, assuming that you're trading the signals. Well, that's even if you're trading the signals blindly. If you're using any of the other filtrations I teach you, you should have done extremely well this Friday. So, as you can see, Friday stayed in sync. It wasn't just like this in the yen. It was like that across the board. So, Fridays, I don't know, for some reason, they're getting really, really good. So, I typically come in on Fridays a little cautious, because in the past, Fridays could be very difficult. But lately, the Fridays have been very good. They've stayed in sync. A lot of times the sync will get out of sync with the market early Friday, and so find myself not trading for several hours. Sometimes I don't trade for the rest of the day. If it's not in sync, I just stay out. But man, when it gets in sync first thing in the morning, you should definitely be hitting an objective within the first hour or two, and then you're pretty much off for the weekend and to enjoy the weekend, and then come back on Sunday night. So anyway, that's our week. Had a great week overall, as you know. Going to continue to follow that, sticking with putting on size my first trade, and hitting, going for a $500 objective. and we talk a lot about that in the chat room. Also, these arrows that you see here, this is manually plotted on the charts. Okay, so if you use Thinkorswim, I have to plot them for you, but I do this so y'all see exactly what setup is coming up. I do know in advance whether I'm going to be buying or selling. And then I also know in advance whether I'm going to have a stronger setup compared to a weaker setup. All really important information if you want to adjust size. You have to understand when you're trading binaries, don't think that you can come in and just trade one lots all the time and, do very well. You're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to add some size, okay? And that could be a 2 lot, that could be a 3 lot, whatever the ratio you like, that's up to you. I personally like a 1-3 ratio, but I have done 1s and 2s. I have done a 2 ratio to add size. So it just depends, and I could still do extremely well, hit some really nice numbers without putting a lot of exposure into it. And that comes through experience, comes through time. And the more and more I see my students that work at this, I'm seeing that they're hitting their objectives and they're not doing crazy size, okay? They're doing it 1s and 2 lots. So that's going to be it for this week. Remember, if you're interested in getting the core package, I'm still going to offer that 101 with you up until the 1st of January. Then it goes to, we're going to be doing training as a group, okay? So if you have any questions, just go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com. If you don't have the free fundamental video, make sure you sign up for that. I'll send you a free copy of that. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll come back later and answer all those for you. Or you can always shoot me an email via my website. That's it. I hope everybody has a great week coming up. I'm expecting the movement to continue to be very well. And I'll be back Sunday night to trade with my students, which is always my favorite night. So anyway, y'all take care, and we will do our next update next weekend. Adios.